You're watching Color 10 News at 10 in high definition.
A former student believes Springfield Central High School went too far when it brought drug dogs into school. I'm Ashley Katz.
Good to have you along once again, everybody. I'm David Oliver. Now that former student, hopes to get his case in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. That drug search happened back in 2010. Since then, 2 courts have issued judgments dismissing the suit. And tonight, new at 10, Kevin Schwaller has the first TV interview with the student at the center of the case.
Connor Miser says the dogs didn't find drugs in his bag. Miser never got into trouble. What he says happened is a district acted beyond its rights. Now he's looking to a higher court for help.
Taking a lot of patience.
Central High School grad Connor Miser is pushing ahead with a case that started with something that happened his freshman year.
Immediately I thought, why are they doing this? What right do they have?
The district brought in drug dogs. Students left their belongings in class. The dogs sniffed around.
I was just shocked, and it kind of frustrated me because I couldn't do anything about it while they sat there and searched my stuff. Before I left the room, I had actually zipped up all my pockets and stuff, and then when I came back, they were all unzipped. So I do have reason to believe that they did search my stuff.
And that's one of the issues here. Miser believes someone unzipped and possibly searched his bag. The district says it only searches bags if the dogs get a hit.
There never was a search. The funny thing about drug detection dogs is they don't have opposable thumbs, so they can't manipulate those zippers.
The lawyer for the school district, Ransom Ellis, says this legal action is costing taxpayers.
I know that for the district, the fees so far have been $96,000.
Miser's attorney, Jason Umbarger, is turning to the highest court in the country.
We're seeking to protect all the students in our country from this kind of mass, warrantless, illegal search and seizure.
Didn't know if we would, how it would end, but I didn't think that it'd be going on this long.
The answer to how much longer this will last depends on if the Supreme Court decides to hear the case. Miser's stepdad is Doug Burleson of the Springfield City Council, and his mom, along with Burleson, originally had their names attached to this case. That was before Miser turned 18. Ellis says the district has insurance to cover some of those legal fees, and the district isn't using drug dogs right now. Still, Ellis says he believes the schools will bring in the dogs again if the legal challenges end.
We'll see where it goes. Kevin, thanks. Also tonight, new at 10, a cat with a confirmed case of rabies has died. The Arkansas Department of Health reports tonight the cat lived in Boone County. This was the 100th case of rabies found in an Arkansas animal this year. Here's the breakdown of numbers I want to tell you about right now. 91 skunks, 3 bats, 2 cats, 2 dogs, 1 cow, and 1 horse, all infected with rabies. The Department of Health recommends you make sure your pets are up to date on rabies vaccinations.
Also new at 10, tomorrow is your first chance to get vaccinations, free ones from the Springfield Greene County Health Department. It's giving away Tdap shots, and that covers tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis. Color 10's Laura Kennedy is here with the details. Laura.
The mass vaccination clinic will serve 2 roles. It's a chance for the public to get that Tdap shot for free and a way for the health department to stress test its systems in case of an emergency. Mike Brothers hopes this waiting room at the Westside Public Health Center is packed Thursday.
We have 1,000 doses that we're prepared to give out.
Doses of the Tdap vaccine. It protects against tetanus, diphtheria, and whooping cough.
If you're one of the adults that's out there and you're hearing this right now and you're thinking, I'm not really sure when the last time I got the tetanus shot is, this will be a chance for you to come out and get that booster.
And as of 2010, all kids going into the 8th grade are required to have the shot up to date. A vaccine that normally costs $64, paid for by a state grant.
This is a great chance to come out and get that for free.
The other part of the drill is preparing for a possible flu pandemic, so they want to get as many people through the doors as possible.
We really want to test our capabilities here, so there are really no restrictions on this.
The health department has not run a test of this scale in 4 years since the H1N1 scare, so Brothers says this day-long event is a win-win.
The public can get this protection with the Tdap vaccine, and then we can get the practice run on the mass clinic side.
Brothers says he hopes they give out all 1,000 shots during the clinic. And the clinic again is tomorrow from 9 to 7 at the Westside Public Health Center on Scenic Avenue. Anyone ages 11 and up is welcome, but bring shot records for kids ages 11 to 18. Many other surrounding counties are also holding their own mass vaccination clinics this month. If you live outside Greene County, just call your local health department for their clinic date.
All right, Laura, thanks. Jamie Warner back right now with a look at your Ozarks first forecast tonight.
And today was really sort of a transition day as we go from the wetter pattern over the last couple of days to a hotter pattern that we're going to see over the next couple of days. Temperatures this afternoon topping out in the low to middle 90s. Take a look at the highs back toward Highway 63. 96 this afternoon in Mountain Home, 93 in West Plains, 94 in Rolla. Further west, it wasn't quite as hot, but almost 92 today in Springfield. The reason for the hotter temperatures out east, that was closer to that ridge of high pressure in the atmosphere, and you tend to get sinking air, and with that you tend to get hotter temperatures, and that's what we found this afternoon. We did manage to pop off a few isolated downpours. Even here in Springfield, we had a couple isolated downpours. One of them crossing the airport, generating a trace of precipitation. That activity's gone. Temperatures slowly cooling off. Only 81 right now in Springfield. Looks like lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow will start off sunny, maybe a patch or two of fog, and I think a shower is going to be very, very hard to come by tomorrow afternoon. What we will find plenty of is heat with highs in the low to mid 90s across the area.
Tonight, new at 10, 3 people are recovering now from carbon monoxide exposure. This happened today in Nixa on Ashley Drive. The assistant chief says when firefighters were evaluating a patient with chest pain, a carbon monoxide alarm went off over on the EMS kit. When the building was tested, the level was so high, firefighters say it could have turned fatal in a few hours. One of the 3 people exposed went to the hospital. The other 2 were treated and released. The carbon monoxide was coming from a forklift that had been running inside his shop.
Also new at 10, it will be 18 years in prison for a man who attempted to have sex with a teen girl. Today, a judge sentenced this man, Ezra Graham of Springfield. Graham pleaded guilty back in March. Prosecutors say the girl's mother found suspicious text messages on her daughter's phone. A detective then posed as a teen and arranged a meeting with Graham, which was when he was arrested.
2 Southwest Missouri Police Departments tonight want to find out if 2 restaurant robberies might be connected. The first happened Friday night at a Subway in Nixa. The second around the same time Sunday at a Subway in Joplin.
They both wore a hat. They both wore glasses, like eyeglasses, thick frame glasses. They both had jackets on, not the same type of jacket, and not the same type of hat, but and then they both appeared to be on foot. We're just working with Joplin to see if they're related. Right now at this time, I don't know if they are or not. I can't just say yes, they are the same, but we're investigating it.
In both cases, the robber went into the store, showed a gun, and demanded money.
The American Civil Liberties Union claims police are invading your privacy. Many departments, including Springfield's, scan license plates and store the information. Police say the program's beneficial, but the ACLU believes there's no reason to keep the information on innocent people.
We don't know if people are down the road going to be involved in criminal activity. We have to do, obviously, what we see fit, trying to identify criminals. And this is yet again another tool to keep the citizenry of Springfield safe. If you're there, no issues, no criminal activities afoot, there's nothing really to worry about.
Knowing where people are is going increasingly into these bigger and bigger databases, and we think most Americans want to have some privacy.
And the Springfield Police Department told us it used to store the data for 30 days. Now it's 5 years.
An Ozarks man credited with helping catch 2 murder suspects receives a statewide honor. Rick Balsley of Stone County is the 2013 Missouri Sheriff's Association Citizen of the Year. The Stone County Sheriff says Balsley held 2 teen murder suspects at gunpoint until deputies could arrive on the scene. Those teens are charged now with killing Paul and Margaret Brooks earlier this year in Lampe. A 4-month-old boy from the Ozarks recovers from heart surgery. Tonight, as we first told you here at 10 last night, Caleb Miller received a transplant because he was born with a congenital heart defect. The family says the procedure went well, and doctors are watching now to make sure his body does not reject the heart. A Facebook page that updates Caleb's condition has more than 62,000 followers.
Mercy employees give back to 3 Ozarks charities. Today, the hospital announced its Force for Good Good Summer Grant recipients. $60,000 was awarded to the rare breed. Springfield Council of PTA's Clothing Bank walked away with $13,000, and Isabel's House accepted a check for $12,000. Since 2003, Mercy Clinic doctors and co-workers have contributed more than $1.4 million to local charities. Branson has become a hot spot for cycling.
That's right, its trails are packed every day.
It's just pretty here. And you've got hills and stuff, so it's not just boring, flat terrain.
The other reason cyclists like Branson and the way the area hopes to draw in more visitors, we would like to draw you in as a visitor on our Facebook page. You can find us with the Facebook icon. It's right there at ozarksfirst.com. Now tonight, more local news now for you. Cycling enthusiasts look to Europe, of course, for the Tour de France every year, but bike riders everywhere are beginning to notice the Ozarks, too.
Color 10's Nathan Vickers reports the steep green hills of Branson are catching on.
In the heat of July, riders like Riley Daniels rip through the 12 miles of trail at Table Rock State Park.
It's like an adrenaline rush that, you know, you're going to crash and you're going to fall and you're going to get scraped up, but it's something that's pretty low risk.
Park officials say it's taken 2 summers for the trails to catch on, but now dozens of cyclists and hikers visit every day.
Word of mouth's getting out, and more people are finding out about the trail system, and we're seeing more and more visitors coming out and enjoy it.
I did some research on the internet before I came here to try and figure out where I wanted to go ride, and this trail got a lot of good reviews.
The state park even offers bike rentals to let visitors enjoy some of the area's paved trails.
It's just pretty here. And you've got hills and stuff, so it's not just boring, flat terrain. People just want to look good and feel better, really. So, I mean, this is it.
Many of the bikers that come to town pass through local shops like Downhill Cycling, where Paul Jackson sells to both trail riders and traditional roadies.
And it's just kind of cool to see their take on the area and the hills and everything like that.
He says a growing enthusiasm for the sport of cycling is catching on in Branson, where riders appreciate the challenging landscape.
Being outside, you know, feeling the wind, I mean, that's some people's just kind of way to get away from, you know, it all.
Cycling attracts nearly 25 million Americans every year and provides the chance to speed through the hills of the Ozarks. In Branson, I'm Nathan Vickers.
By the way, Table Rock State Park will host its first major mountain bike race at the end of August.
Anybody planning to ride tomorrow better take out the water and some sunscreen, Jamie. It's going to be warm out there.
It is going to be hot. You're going to have to stay hydrated. If you got to mow the grass, either do it early or do it late. Got a couple of days of this heat, and then more rain and a little bit of a cool down. Look at that in your full forecast coming up.
And now weather with Color 10 News Chief Meteorologist Jamie Warner.
All right, we'll start things off with a look at a beautiful photo of what I think a lot of you probably saw this evening, and that was these scattered anvils that were left over by pop-up showers that developed this afternoon and this evening. Under the anvil, this was a photo taken by Patricia Choate of Walnut Grove. This is actually one of the leftover showers or storm tops from activity that pushed across Springfield. Everything again today was moving southeast to northwest. We had a couple of isolated heavy showers move right across Springfield and on their way to the northwest, and I think what Patricia got right there in that photo was what was left of that activity that had moved through Springfield earlier on in the evening. Didn't pick up much rain today officially, though, out at the airport. Only a trace, despite having that shower move right across the airport. And you know, we've talked about this the last couple of weeks, how dry it has gotten, and farmers are exactly spot on. I mean, you know, the spigots have been turned off. They got turned off around the middle of the month of June. During the winter, we had adequate precipitation. During the spring, we had more than adequate. In fact, in May, we had almost 8 inches of precipitation. During the month of June, though, that's when things began to shut down, right around the middle of the month. And since then, the rain that we have seen out there has been very spotty, with a lot of spots really not picking up much in the way of rainfall. Well, here's the good news. First, the bad news. The bad news is, got a couple of hot, mainly dry days ahead. After that, though, rain chances they're going to be going back up, I think. Here's what generated the rains over the last couple of days. This upper level low, or at least helped in generating the rains. This was part of that moisture pump that was in place. Now that the moisture pump is shifting to the west, drier air has moved in upstairs, and it's going to be with us through tomorrow and Friday. We've also got high pressure in the atmosphere, which is also going to suppress our rain chances through Thursday and Friday. But it looks like that pattern will change a bit by the weekend. Next couple of days, though, lots of sun, plenty of heat, and really not much, if any, in the way of rainfall. Highs Thursday and Friday in the mid-90s. But by this weekend, that ridge of high pressure in the east is going to get squeezed out. And this ridge out west, it's going to take over. And it's going to expand in size across the western U.S. And this will lead to a trough in the eastern U.S., which will allow a cold front to drop in from the north on Saturday. And it now looks like that front will probably wash out over the area Sunday into Monday. So with the front still sort of lingering in the region and upper level disturbances continue to ride around the top of this ridge and dive down and interact with that front, we're going to have scattered showers and thunderstorms around Saturday, Sunday, and possibly Monday. And there is some chance that rain chances could actually extend even beyond that if we play our cards right. So we need the rain. Hopefully we'll be getting into a more sustained wet pattern starting this weekend. Overnight tonight down to 71 under mostly starry skies and muggy moonshine out there. Tomorrow looks like we'll find a mostly sunny day. Clouds will try to bubble up late morning and into the afternoon. Very few of those clouds will actually generate any shower activity. Most areas will be dry. High of about 93 tomorrow in Springfield, but areas to the east and southeast will likely be a little bit hotter. 96, maybe 97 in Mountain Home, mid-90s in West Plains, Fort Leonard Wood, and Rolla. As far as rain chances, again, most areas will stay dry, but if we see isolated showers, I think the better chance for that would tend to be in areas from West Plains south through Mountain Home and maybe west over toward Harrison. Friday looks like a dry day. Highs in the mid-90s. Saturday, again, scattered showers and thunderstorms. Kind of depends on how much sun we see that day. Looks like at least 90, maybe 91. Near 90 on Sunday with scattered storms. A chance of storms on Monday. And Tuesday and Wednesday we're going to have to wait and see, but at least that rain chance looks like it may be there. Temperatures will be very dependent upon how much storm coverage we have and how much sun we see, but it still looks like highs, if not 90, maybe into the low 90s.
Got some pictures into the newsroom. I have some just spotty showers around the Ozarks as well tonight. Different areas.
Yeah, very pretty, very pretty. A nice scene for folks looking at the sunset.
Right.
Yeah,
Thanks,
pretty
Jamie.
sunset.
You're going to look back and you're going to have this be a growing experience rather than a dying experience.
Arkansas coach Brett Bielema says his Hogs are ready for football.
Dan Lucy's coming up for sports, and he has more from SEC Media Days and also baseball from Hammonds too. Stick around.
And now, Color 10 Sports with Dan Lucy.
The Springfield Cardinals wrapped up their short 4-game homestand tonight against Arkansas. With a victory tonight, the Cardinals can win the series 3-1. Springfield is 2 games behind Arkansas in the Texas League North race. Southpaw Tim Cooney throwing BBs for Springfield early, strikes out Travis Witherspoon swinging. But Arkansas would break on top in the 3rd inning. This is a delayed double steal. Rolando Gomez breaks for second, stops. Jimmy Swift swiftly races home. He's safe on the delayed double steal. 1-0 Travs. Springfield battles back though. Luis Mateo at 3rd. Jake Lemmerman hammers this one to left. Deep enough to score Mateo on the sacrifice fly right in front of the fence, 1-1. Cards would take the lead in the 5th inning. Adam Melker would rip this shot to right center. The ball would bang off the wall out there for a double. So he's at 2nd. Jake Lemmerman up again. He follows with a single to center. Adam Melker motors around 3rd, comes in to score to make it 2-1, and Springfield goes on to win. The final was 3-1. The American League has secured home field advantage for the World Series. This after beating the National League in last night's All-Star game. The American League pitching bottled up the National League Stars all night, and the AL generated just enough offense to win 3-0. But the special All-Star moment came in the bottom of the 8th inning when Jim Leyland brought in retiring Yankees closer Mariano Rivera for his last All-Star game appearance. Rivera had no problems getting his 3 outs. He won the All-Star Game's Most Valuable Player Award, and afterwards Leland explained why he used Mo in the 8th instead of the 9th.
For obvious reasons, I hope you all understand that. If something freaky would have happened in the 8th, where they would have scored some runs and taken the lead, there possibly wouldn't have been a 9th, so that's why I did it.
When I got to the mound, I see both sides, both teams on the out of the dugout and cheering and applauding there. It was amazing. That almost made me cry too.
Day 2 of the Southeastern Conference Media Days was all about the new guys. Of the 14 SEC coaches, 4 of them are brand new, and all 4 of those coaches were on display today in front of the media. That would be more than 1,000 reporters peppering each coach about their new teams and hopes for the upcoming season. That includes Arkansas's Brett Bielema. Bielema comes to Fayetteville from Wisconsin, where last season he led the Badgers to the Big Ten championship. Bielema takes over a Razorback squad that was 4-8 last season and won only 2 games in the SEC. In our Razorback Nation report, the new coach says the Hogs have a new attitude and are ready to turn things around.
And I told those guys, if you can accept what's happened in the past, and as we move forward together, if you just take every day for what it is, you're going to look back and you're going to have this be a growing experience rather than a dying experience. It's going to be something that makes you better. And our kids have been awesome. They've had 3 head coaches in 3 years. Hopefully at the end of this year, they like me the best.
The other big story today in Hoover, Alabama, swirled around Texas A&M quarterback Johnny Manziel. Last year, Manziel surprised everyone in the SEC and was the first freshman winner of the Heisman Trophy, but he struggled with that fame and notoriety. Just this week, Manziel was dismissed from Peyton Manning's quarterback camp for missing meetings. Reports were that he was hungover after a night of partying. His dad said he was just ill. Today, the Aggie quarterback denies that he was intoxicated and says that he simply overslept and apologized to everyone involved.
It was nothing more than just oversleeping and making a mistake, and I went in and absolutely owned up to that. It was my fault. There was no excuse for my phone not being on. There was no excuse for not waking up. So I took full responsibility for that.
Springfield Lasers in Washington, D.C. for the 2nd time this season. Last week, the Lasers beat the Castles. Tonight, it was all Washington. Castles winning men's and women's singles along with the mixed doubles event. Washington won 21-15. Springfield is 5-3 on the short WTT season. Returns to Cooper tomorrow night to play Sacramento. The big difference between tonight and last week with Springfield and Washington was last week Springfield had a guy named Andy Roddick on the team.
Not tonight.
Not tonight.
Okay, Dan. Thanks.
We'll be right back.
Here are tonight's winning lottery numbers. Color 10 News will continue in a moment.
All right.
James giving us his thoughts on breakfast.
I've always said it'd be so great if you all could be here with us for some of the conversations that go on during the commercials.
We talk about food.
Talk about food, talk about breakfast and wait times at certain places, but we're not going to name any names. But anyway, Jamie, take it away.
Jamie, how's it going?
And go. Okay, we'll just stick to weather in this one. We won't get on the soapbox. Looks like hot, mainly dry weather the next couple of days, and then the rains will be back Saturday and Sunday. Scattered showers and thunderstorms with highs around 90, and I think we may be able to keep those rain chances going into next week too.
You got any complaints?
I love breakfast.
I do too.
I do too.
We could have an early breakfast, I guess, or a late breakfast.
All the way through 10:30.
We love drive-thrus too. Thanks for watching.
10 minutes before, all the way to 10:30.
Good night.